Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a BlazeCasting presentation, bringing you guys a game between Team Empire and JT. This is part of a Fnatic RaidCall Dota 2 Cup that happened a couple weeks back. Didn't get a chance to do it live. Obviously, my live stream isn't exactly up and kicking just yet, but I still want to do some backlog replays and check it out and see how these teams are faring in this. Now, I have heard that this game in particular was pretty solid, and I'm looking forward to it, see what these guys have to bring to the table. Team Empire, very famous, popular Russian team. Don't know too much about JT. I know they're North American, and I did actually watch one of their games before, but I haven't casted with them yet, so that will be very fun and see what they have going on. Very active. Kind of standard bands coming out to start off here. The Nagasara and Lycanthrope getting taken off. Invoker and Rubik, so pretty much those two, Lycanthrope and Naga, kind of go hand in hand as far as bans go. You ban one, you generally ban the other because they kind of counteract one another. The Invoker and the Rubik just kind of solo mid or supportive spell spamming casters, and they are very powerful in their own right when they're put in the right hands, which at this level of play you know they're going to be. So they are also taken off, and we also have the Chen. I'm curious if they're going to see the pairing of the Enchantress banned out, so they don't have to worry about her, but we'll see that going into it. Whitebeard drafting up before JT, picking up the last ban as a Darkseer, very good pick there. Leshrac still in the field, and it's going to be actually picked up immediately by Team Empire. I was about to say that was going to be a good option, but they had no hesitation on that. So yeah, Team Empire did get the first pick, and they did get that option, but of course, two follow-up heroes soon, Nature's Prophet and Morphling coming out. So a lot of actually aggressive, I mean, a lot of people play Nature's Prophet as a semi-carry. He can be also very supportive, but at one way or another, they wanted that global presence and that push aspect to him, and he's a very great hero for that. Picks come out pretty quickly here, but the Morphling and Tidehunter for the Dire team. JT going to have that lineup there. The Tidehunter playing kind of as a support in this setting, I believe. He'll be kind of a lane support, help later on in the game as Initiation comes out when he gets that Ravage going, especially when it gets it to rank 2. He'll be that much more powerful and can build from there. So he's a really good hero that will be able to initiate their fights for them with the Disable and AoE magic damage. Morphling on the hands, they're scaling carry. I'm not sure the carry team on JT, I think it's Tobacco, but I'm not sure. Anyways, he's going to be picked up. Morphling is going to be picked up, and he's a really versatile carry. They can do a lot with him. The waveform going through makes him a very powerful early game hero, just magic damage, nuke, and mobility. But later on, he scales really well when he gets some solid stats, some strength, some agility. He can either be played as a glass cannon, a very durable tank, or somewhere in between throughout the entire fight. It's a very slippery character that we'll have to see if they can lock him down, because that's the big deal of pretty much for Empire. If they have a hard carry that they're going up against like Morphling, they really need to stand top him and try to draft in a way that they'll be able to negate his presence and do a lot of damage to him. Now the Shadow Demon and Sand King pickups were really smart. If they were up against an Anti-Mage, those two heroes can lock one down extremely effectively, but the fact that Morphling got picked up, I'm not sure if that's going to be exactly as the best option. The illusions can do a decent amount. One thing though, the Shadow Demon Leshrac lane is very powerful. The Shadow Demon starting off with the Disruption, the Leshrac following up with that Split Earth. It's going to be a lot of magic damage and just a lot of damage in general. They're going to have illusions damaging into them, have a 2-second stun on them, and the Edict will come on through as well. Not sure if they're going to do like a tri-lane with Sand King. I'd figure Sand King would go another direction, maybe cover up a solo lane and get rank 2 Sandstorm pretty quickly to cover up that tower. Who knows? Kind of hard to say at this point. There's a lot of different metas, a lot of different styles. I'm curious to see if Nature's Prophet will be a jungling hero and just kind of go for a lot of farm, lot of quick GPM through Midas, Aghanim Scepter, that kind of stuff, or if he's going to be going for like a Sheepstake, Mechanzum kind of utility build. So there's a lot of different ways to work with him as well. And Nature's Prophet I really like as a hero because at the as early as level 2, he can jump into across the map and do some really powerful early game ganks, and so he can turn a 2v2 into a 2v3, a 3v2 very effectively, and that can be very nice. As far as the bans coming out, Enigma and Queen of Pain have both been taken off by Team Empire, and the Chaos Knight and Lone Druid have been taken by Dire. I definitely agree with the Chaos Knight ban especially, because another good Leshrac pairing. You start off with that Chaos Bolt, you follow it up with the Split Earth, and it's just going to be a lot of damage. They're one of the best dual lanes as far as just getting kills for a semi-carry. Chaos Knight being played generally as a ganker or a semi-carry. But the draft going on, actually Admiral Kunkka picked up not very common at all. He's a strength. I guess in this role he's going to be carry. I would call him semi, but he's definitely going to be played as a number 1 slot in this here. Hopefully land with a nearby with Shadow Demon, because Shadow Demon Disruption has the same exact effect as what I said with the Split Earth multiple times. And that Torrent follows it up, and if you can get the Soul Catcher on it, if they're not near creeps, that is just going to be a ton of damage, and it's going to be a very hard lane to go up against. In the meantime, that may leave open like a Windrunner solo and a Leshrac Sand King, or it could be a Leshrac going solo mid, or actually, not sure about the lane, but Sand King and Windrunner could lane together, or Sand King and Leshrac. Either way, the remaining Intellect hero will go solo. But I'm actually kind of thinking that Shadow Demon and Kunkka might go for the solo mid and try to shut down whoever's going in that mid role. So I'm curious who that'll be, and that's why they banned out the Queen of Pain, because Queen of Pain can blink actually out of the Disruption Torrent in between those two if the timing isn't 100% perfect. So that's a good ban, and they're going to be probably going for the mid lane with that in my mind. But Earthshaker has been picked up. This is interesting. They have 2 kind of strength initiators. The Tidehunter can really do some powerful initiation with the Ravage. I kind of consider, in this case, Earthshaker to be kind of a counter initiator. He can shut down and do some has the potential to do a lot of really nice blocks with the Fisher early game. But I'm not sure where they're going to lane him. It may mean Tidehunter is going to be going solo himself and trying to survive against the Kunkka pickup or something. I don't know. Definitely shows that the Kunkka pickup was kind of a good way of messing with the enemy team. JT thinking about this very carefully, and they've only got 30 seconds left in the reserve time, but threw off exactly what they expected. Kunkka's a different carry that you have to combat mostly by stacking HP, which Morphling is good at if he plays for a defensive build rather than the Glass Cannon Ethereal build. But we will see how they want to stylize that, lane it, and go up to try to take the win here. Now this is pretty big. I mean, it's only pretty early on in the tournament. If I recall correctly, it's the 2nd round of the Fnatic Play RaidCall Cup, but it's still very relevant to take these 2 teams, very high skilled, and want to obviously take the win to move forward in the tournament, have a better shot at the semifinals, at the finals. But Puck is going to be a very fun final pick that I really like. The fact that they were able to draft him up, Tobacco actually playing him instead. Do I have the right camera? I do not. Sorry, I'll switch that. Oh, it is free camera. I'm not. Oh, weird. Anywho, so with that, Smurf is going to be picking up on the Morphling Derp, supporting him on the Tidehunter. Actually has a lot of regen, so maybe going for a solo with that Stout Shield, because generally you get like Ward's Quarry or at least some Clarities if you're going to be going for a supportive role for the Tide, who is decked out with that Pyro Gear. Very fun. But I think, let's see, Whitebeard definitely going for the jungle, has that regeneration from the Clarities, that kind of stuff. So I believe Derp will probably be going solo bottom lane. It'll be Smurf and Rolo up top, Tobacco in the mid, and Whitebeard in the jungle. That's what I'm thinking. Anyways, both teams are going to go kind of like, here's the 5 top, 5 bottom, just covering their jungle, making sure there's not going to be any wards to block off their pulls, and therefore they can really take advantage of the specific lanes. Now this is interesting. Leshrac picking up a Ring of Protection is definitely going to be looking for a Basilius to push down towers pretty rapidly. So the question is, who's he going to be laning with, and will he really be set up to go and push down towers? If he can get that Edict damage upon it, it can really do a lot of single target damage. But I think Derp on Tide probably has some other things planned out. And good luck, have fun comes out. And indeed, I hope this is a good game, very interesting, and we can see what they have going on now. Interestingly, Scandal picking up the Kunkka. I'm sure he can land his torrents. He's very skilled in multiple facets and multiple characters. I haven't seen him play Kunkka specifically, but he's a skilled player, so I definitely expect a lot to come out of him. Now, Nabrosko covering up top rune, does not look at decided to spawn there. 50-50. Spawn invisibility on the bottom, not too big of a deal one way or another, I don't believe, but a J4 on the bottom lane with Jackal, so it is going to be a double stun lane, and actually Shadow Demon even picks up the invis. Shadow Demon is mostly going to be a middle lane with Kunkka, Scandal, so Scandal and Always Want to Fly landing together. But for the moment, since he has that invis rune, he wants to try to initiate on Derp, but Derp playing very carefully for the moment, and going to make sure that he has full control until he knows exactly where everybody is, because a lot missing on the map for their perspective. In the meantime, Smurf starting off strong, one last hit, I guess. Not that big a deal, but the fact of the matter is he morphed agility right off the bat. He picked up his morph, and since he's got so much support with the potential for the Earthshaker to be roaming around and helping him out all the time, actually here comes a invisible disruption coming in. There is the torrent, but Puck, beautiful action from the phase shift, phasing out that torrent, and actually keeps himself alive. That would have been an easy first blood for any other hero. but Tobacco on top of things and make sure that he times that, what is it, a 0.75 second duration in phase shift. Just gets it right at the right time. A nice block coming in from Rolo, stopping it in Brosco. Even with that win run, you can only run so fast, but you can run very fast indeed. But if you can't escape, then there's no problem at all. The stun will not come through, I don't believe, but will the damage be there? It actually is. Whitebeard getting just enough damage in on Windrunner, maybe a little bit lucky on that range of it, attack damage from 49 to 63, but just barely able to lock her down. And that's really big, not only for the 200 bonus gold for the kill, but Windrunner just spent 135 gold trying to TP out, was unsuccessful, and now cannot TP back to lane. So not only is she not barely into level 2 because she's been zoned very hard by Rolo, but now that first blood goes out, and she misses a full creep wave and a half in experience, so that's not going to be where she wants to be at all. As a solo lane sitting at Windrunner, sitting at 150 experience per minute, and dropping. Not good at all. Anyways, Derp hasn't had to spend any regen really. He hasn't been too aggressive on the lane. He's very cautious. Wants to make sure. Actually, back up middle lane. Sorry, missing this. He has already popped his illusion or orb, so he's not going to be able to get out of there. No amount of phase shift is going to pull you out of that kind of position, and he got knocked out. Once he popped that orb, he was vulnerable to that disruption, and he got off. And with the soul catcher, 20% increased damage received is definitely going to hurt. And that's going to bring Tobacco down, putting the score back to 1-1. But I definitely would say a first blood on Nature's Prophet, trying to go for a quick Midas, presumably anyways, will help him out a heck of a lot more than the Shadow Demon picking up that kill. Anywho, Scandal has that bottle already. Shadow Demon going to be looking for some control on the runes. Actually, the regen rune has spawned bottom. Both teams know it, I do believe. Well, this is, yeah, they both have wards on this position here. So they both have a good idea of where the ward had spawned, even if they don't know what it is specifically. Anywho, the Earthshaker almost level 3, going to get another rank in the Fisher and do a lot with it, but Morphling getting a lot of gold, a lot of experience right now. As far as the net worth, he's not as high as Leshrac, but he definitely makes a lot more out of it. He's a harder carry, so the more gold he can get, the more... Actually, here comes the Wind Run combined, but he is blocked off. Another perfect action by Rolo, even blocking off this spot where he is standing, and wow. The Sprout comes on through and the waveform goes across. Perfect action between Rolo, Smurf, Whitebeard, hitting that beautiful angle right here. I can't draw on the map during the replay, but it's nice action there. Derp run for his life. The Split Earth, he jukes it just barely. He's gone on through, but he's taking a lot of damage and he should go down here completely blocked out. Can't do too much more than that. Edict goes through and that's going to be the end of his life. But nice attempt, cutting through the trees with the Tangos. That's going to be pretty good action there. Tobacco taking a lot again. But again, like I said, this is a high-pressure lane. This lane is completely reliant on kills. If Always Wanna Fly and Scandal aren't picking off kills almost every single time they use that combo, I guess if they can bottle more runes, they can continue doing it. But the fact of the matter that Tobacco is only surprised once is actually kind of astonishing. But I suppose Puck is one of those heroes. If you can use him properly, he will be able to escape quite effectively. And the regen rune is bottled by Kunkka. Meantime, Smurf farming it up, topping out the net worth. Now, despite the kill that Leshrac just picked up, Smurfling, I mean, with that kill, he got an assist on the Windrunner as well as a kill for himself, and now he is sitting at 22 CS and farming very effectively for it. So he's going to get some pretty good effective items really quickly early on. Maybe in a Ring of Aquila or Power Treads. Not sure how he wants to build it. Some opt for the Boots of Travel, but in my opinion, that takes a little bit too long to get active in most games anyways. A little bit impractical there. But Sand King just making sure that Derp is as far off the lane as possible, but he's still gotten some experience. I mean, he's sitting almost at level 4. I'm not sure how that compares to Windrunner. Windrunner is getting a bit more now that she's been roaming around a little bit, is over level 4. And I don't know if she was looking for mid lane or what, but Tobacco's not here. He's falling back to base and knows when he's beat for the moment. In the meantime, Sprout goes in. They're going up against Derp. He was initiated upon, but he didn't drop down. Not enough double stun damage upon him. And now Whitebeard getting a lot of nice auto attacks, but they don't think they will be able to bring him down. There's just not enough spells to follow through. He wants that Sprout, but I don't think it's going to happen. Just Jackal, all he has to do is walk away, because he does have the boots of speed and has that movement speed advantage. But all the same, a double stun coming in from Sand King and Leshrac. Derp just surviving with the Kraken Shell, and then a counter kill with the Sand King getting dropped down and forced to TP back to lane. Not where Empire wants to be right now. Again, they're mostly running kill lanes. The 2 in mid, really looking for kills. Leshrac, Sand King, it's one of the easiest lanes to get kills with as well. So the fact that Derp has survived as well as Tobacco, not a good spot. But anyways, there goes the disruption. The creeps are on to J4 right now, but he does get almost a block through. At least the Soul Catcher and the Burrow Strike going upon him, a lot of damage. He is running for his life at the moment. Are they going to TP in to help him? Last auto attack should finish him off, and he will drop down. Always Wanna Fly, taking that kill. Nice action there. Wiper appeared on the other hand. taking advantage of the time that they are not focusing on his jungle. They don't know where he's at all right now, and he's getting some good damage into the ancient creeps here. And Kunkka pops a rune, picks up another, so he'll stay sustained in the lane, no problem at all. There's not really any way for Puck to harass him out of the lane at the moment, but that Midas is soon to be on its way, and that's going to be starting Whitebeard's climb for the quota profit build. He's going to get a lot of GPM out of that, that's for sure. Speaking of GPM, 34 last hits on Smurf, doing very good there, and has his treads, which gives him a lot of agility, a lot of attack speed, and a good amount of mobility. So I would say a great amount, but Morphling is a hero with only 285 attack speed and has his limitations to that extent. He needs that early movement speed boost with the tier 2 boots, otherwise he's going to have a tough time moving around in any position except for waveform. Derp, on the other hand, not having the best time on lane. He obviously is on the suicide as Tidehunter, who's not the easiest hero to go up against, especially against BlazeCasting and Sand King lane. But he's doing alright as long as he can get some regen in the near future. He will be able to sustain and hold off. In the meantime, Kunkka has picked up his ultimate. There goes a torrent going on through. The Soul Catcher does land on the trees, though. Nice micro buy, and Tobacco taking a lot of damage. Even with the silence, he should drop down here, and that's going to be a killing spree for actually a Shadow Demon, picking up multiple kills. Not the one that they want getting the kills, but as long as there's kills coming in, that's kind of the factor there. Torrent does go on through, going to hit on Whitebeard. He will take a lot of damage. A power shot almost brings him down, but the stun, 2 snipes going off there. The stun onto Windrunner actually brings her down, and Shadow Demon to a very low level, but Nature Prophet did get hit by that Shadow Poison long range, and that's going to be one more kill on the board for Always Want to Fly. Meantime, a lot of TP support in the mid tower. The Torrent does go on through. He has the haste rune still active for about 10 more seconds, doing a lot of damage to Puck. Orb goes on through, though. Disruption's not going to mean much with Whitebeard keeping back in. Gets the Sprout off, and the boat comes on through. They're going to have to dodge it. Oh, Tobacco just short of it. Maybe needed to pop the phase shift, didn't happen, but now Whitebeard, run for his life, does not get hit by the Shadow Poison, isn't too worried about the moment. Actually, Scandal in over his head, runs up on the tower, now gets sprouted in for a good duration, no way of cutting through. It's that 3-second Rolo, getting a perfect stun off, and Scandal's going to drop down, way overextended, buddy, and with that, Whitebeard's going to take another easy kill, and that might be his Midas. Yeah, only 30 gold away from it, take a quick creep camp, and that'll be a very, very, very fast Midas, and that'll help his GPM a ton as he starts getting 190 on a very short cooldown. In the meantime, Rolo has picked up an Invis, can do a lot with that once he gets the mana for his Fisher. It is 1 mana regeneration of 1 per second, so not exceptional, but he'll get it eventually, that's for sure. Or even a big Echo Slam, now think about it. Yeah, rank 1, it's generally not that relevant when you don't have that Blink Dagger, but Invisibility does give you that gap closer. I'm wondering if he's going to try to use it. He only has about 10 seconds left on the Invis, though, and has to watch it. In the meantime, Morphling just free farming up top. One thing is the amount of pressure they're putting out in the mid and bot lanes. It's kind of actually, here comes another Torrent. Or no, he faked it. Anywho, the amount of pressure they've been putting on the mid and bottom lanes have forced them to ignore the Morphling for the time being. Smurf very happy, sitting at 58 CS. Far above average. Smoke does come on through, though. Shadow Demon looks for a kill. And Shadow Poisoning across. Gets the vision on Tidehunter. There's the Disruption. Soul Catcher. Now the Burrow Strike. And now the Lich Rat coming through and burns him through immediately. No problem. Oh, big Echo Slam. Rolo, my man. Wow, that is really perfect timing for that. And it's nice. Fisher put in Always Want to Fly in a terrible spot. Whitebeard wants that kill, but the Burrow Strike does come on through, and the Earthstriker has dropped down already. So it will be a 3-for-2 trade, but it is under tower. Windrunner taking a lot of damage, and she will drop down too. So that's, oh, Morphling, Smurf, I didn't see him porting in and actually being active in it. He's not just free AFK farming. He is staying on top of things and knows when he can jump in to capitalize on things. So that is going to be a 3-for-3 trade. I'm assuming Tidehunter was the first casualty. I swear he was, but can't really tell you. Let's look at the KDA. Shadow Demon sitting at the top, 4-1-3, but Whitebeard right behind him, 4-2-2. Not bad at all. Jackal has his Arcane Boots, has his Basilius active, looking for drums possibly as a follow-up, but Smurf now taking up a position on the bottom lane. Did quite a bit of damage to the tower, though. Smurf intelligently left it right above deny range, so they're not going to be able to negate the gold amount that they could acquire from it. But Whitebeard just messing with them. He knows they're waiting for it. He knows they're waiting. Okay, I actually did go through. That's a really weird Sprout, but Burrow Strike comes on through. He's really manning up hard, but he knows he has the reinforcements. Here comes the Dream Coil going across on 2. And now with the orb, a lot of damage. The silence even preventing the. Oh, there goes both spells. He popped his boat. I don't exactly know why. Trying to survive with the rum of Kunkka, but it's not going to go on through. One more auto attack should be enough from Smurf. He wants the end of this kill, but it may not happen. We got a Fisher from Rolo. Come on, buddy. Oh, he gets stunned up by the Split Earth, and Jackal taking a lot of damage coming on through the Edict, the Pulse Nova, burning people down, and he's getting a triple kill out of that. Holy crap, up on that cliff. Nice play by Jackal. Smurf has a Soul Catcher on him, but he's not too worried about it. Has enough life, at least to survive the ultimate, and with that, he wants this kill on Always Want to Fly. Always Want to Fly juking to a really weird position. He's going to get gushed off, and that should be put him in range for Anchor Smash. He wants to neutral. He wants to die to the neutrals. Who will get the last hit, though? The question is no. Morphling. Smurf has the answer, and he's going to get the auto attack at the exact time he needed to make sure the dragons would not bring down his opponent. In the meantime, Baroska has put quite a bit of damage on the tower with that Basilius to help him push it up, but does not have his phase boots or his ultimate yet, and it's not going to be that big a deal. Whitebeard TP's in, and he does put that the Sprout upon him. Now Baroska trying to run out, but the silence is a little bit late, and he's going to escape. So now he does get to sit and Power Shot up on the lane, rank 4 Power Shot to counter push a little bit, but I don't think he can hold this with the tower sitting at like 11% HP. Derp on the other hand, just trying to get his arcane boots, I presume. But J4 and Jackal. Epicenter going on Derp, but he will be able to. Oh, he pops the Ravage off. Smurfs goes on throwing Jackal. He's not going to be able to get the stun off. He puts his ulti through, but he does actually stun him. Derp taking a decent bit of damage, but the Kraken Shell will free him for the moment. Smurf being very aggressive, has a couple of charge wand, and wants to do a little bit more damage, but he doesn't know where the opposition is, and he's ready to fall back. In the meantime, tower is taken up by Tier 1. What's that Echo Slam? Always Want to Fly took a lot of damage there, but I don't think there's a follow-up for it. It's unfortunate. Whitebeard, though, really doesn't have the mana to do Sprout and Teleport, or not in that order, but that's, you know what I mean. Anywho, the tower did go down to, well, it's Kunkka destroying mid tower. I'm not sure. Tower was destroyed by the Dire. Okay, so Dire did get last hit on that, was not denied, and that puts Smurf at a pretty good gold level, though the score is very even at the moment, 13 to 13. As far as late game goes, I definitely still think that more what's their name? JT have it. Smurf getting quite a bit of gold for himself. If you check the GPM tab, 422 at 12 and actually 13 minutes now. Not bad at all. That's where Carry wants to be if he wants to transition towards the mid game. I'm curious if he's going to go for that Ethereal Blade build for some kind of glass cannon, shotgun action, or a nice farm technique there, but he runs into the mud golems and he can't magic damage AoE them down, so he's going to fall back. Unfortunate spawn for him. But anywho, what I was saying, if he goes for the Ethereal Blade, he'll put a lot of damage pressure out. It's kind of playing as an assassin carry and just jumping on people and using actually enemy heroes' bounties to farm up and get his next set of items. Or he can go for a heavy stats build with ultimate orbs, etc. Go for maybe a Lincoln Sphere, then a Manta Style, that kind of stuff, maybe even Scotty later on, and he can just get so much damage and so much health out of it by utilizing that morph and micromanaging that effectively. With Jackal wants to make sure that they don't have the time to farm, don't have the time to sit back and take a breather. The tower is taking a lot of damage, and it will drop down to the Radiant. But in the meantime, this smoke is up. 2 heroes, again, the Disruption and the Split Earth combo, extremely destructive. Now they see Smurf, they want to go on him. Always Want to Fly starts with Disruption. Here comes Soul Catcher, here comes the stun. But Morphling waving out, perfect timing with that, just spamming it up and succeeds just narrowly. The Shackle goes through but does not latch. He's putting a lot of damage on Jackal. He will survive. He's continuing to morph. The ultimate expires, doesn't matter. He can wait for him once more, gets a kill onto Always Want to Fly, at least the Earthshaker does. Very happy about that. He does have mana for a Fisher, but I don't think it will matter. Acerine on Kunkka. And Scandal looking for maybe a kill on bottom, but Derp still cautious as ever, and Ravage has just come back, so he'll be perfectly fine. There's not too much they can do to him that won't cause them a lot of damage and grief in return. Whitebeard just farming up, like I said, has that Midas looking for that Aghanims, and with that he'll be able to push out towers that he's not even close to and get a lot of gold for it. So top 2 GPM right now, Whitebeard and Smurf. They're doing a lot for it, and as they get better items, they're going to be winning that much more. On here comes a Epicenter following the Burrow Strike. The Torrent does come through as well. Can Derp survive? I do not believe so, but the retaliation comes through. Perfect Dream Coil hitting 2. Tobacco puts his the boat goes through. Scandal taking a lot of damage, so is Whitebeard, and actually Scandal perfectly fine with that passive from the Ghost Ship. Tobacco trying to survive, but it doesn't look like he's going to phase shift through, and that's a number of kills for Empire right now. They're just on top of this team fight. The stun goes through perfectly, following the disruption. That's going to be yet another. That's going to be Earthshaker dropping down and Morphling just trying to survive back at base. I don't know if that was creep damage or what, but I guess he knew that nobody was going to gank him. Not too big a deal. There's no global anything on Empire's lineup, so they don't have as much long-range presence, but if they can push down the towers as fast as they have been, who could care less? Diabolic Edict going on through and dropping down this tower down to the tier 2 about to fall. and last hit goes to Shadow Demon. So if you look at the gold graph, flew up from that team fight just incredibly. I mean, it's been wishy-washy back and forth. They've been fairly even, both teams having their own respective advantages. And like I said, JT most likely has the late game, but hey, you gotta understand this is a game of momentum, and if there's enough gold, there's enough levels, enough new items for Empire flowing, they're gonna have the advantage in team fights, especially with an initiator like the Sand King and the Lishrak. So it's really gonna be a lot on Derp and on Rolo, trying to get really good initiation, counter initiation, and set up the Morphling and Nature's Prophet to get that much more farm. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult for them to stay in this action. In the meantime, it looks like a Shadow Blade. I'm trying to remember if that's Shadow Blade or Battle Fury component, or both. But one way or another, that's his two options. I don't believe Battle Fury really will do much for him in this phase, since he already has that bottle. So I'm going to assume that the Shadow Blade, following his Vanguard, will give him a nice amount of durability, but also the powerful burst damage that he can bring across with Tidebringer to everybody in that cone radius. True damage. Very powerful mechanic there for him as he scales on into, the mid game. In the meantime, 2,000 away from the Aghanim Scepter on Whitebeard. Mech just about finished. Needs 200 more gold for it, and he will have that mechanism as well. The Derp does put his Ravage off. The stun goes through from the Earthshaker. A lot of damage coming out from Smurf. Even pops the Echo Slime just to make sure the Dream Coil was finished off. Scandal run for his life. He has a TV scroll, but he needs to get out. Will there be an adaptive strike? There will not be. He will get out. The adaptive strike was already used as a nuke, and it was not available for Scandal, escaping very handily at the perfect time. But even so, that initiation, popping off a couple ultimates, but well worth it to take down 3 lives and possibly this tier 1 tower. The fortification is up, and they have 1,300. The question is, will they even bother trying to commit to defend it with the amount of stun and disables coming out from JT? Rolo bringing up the rear, wants to reinforce his teammates as they siege upon the tier 1, and the Fortify has popped out. There is a teleportation coming in from Always Want to Fly, but this tower might be taken down too quickly. Here comes Windrunner. She has a Windrun to pop immediately into Brosco, but he's taking a lot of damage. Waveform goes on through, the Sprout is across, but she has the mech finished, and with that she will be fine for the moment, but at least NP finishes the tower with her creeps. Disruption goes across. Leshrak will not follow up with the stun. Smurf taking a lot of damage though. He needs a wave now. Perfect timing, but he is ulted, and he's not going to escape. I don't believe he is going. He has that Eagle Song. That's very nice for him, but here comes X marks the spot, and he's going to be in a really tight spot right here. He almost has his waveform, but he is shackled, and that's going to be the end of Smurf. But yeah, like I said, Eagle Song indicates that he's going for that Shotgun Ethereal Blade. That's going to give him a lot of momentum getting it at the 20-minute mark here. It just needs about 600 gold more, I think. Anyways, Whitebeard, Aghanim's 400, so that's going to do a lot of damage once it bounces all the way through. A lot of bounces, a lot of damage. Going to bring the hurt with it, and of course have that always present push and backdoor potential with it. Whitebeard can just jump on a lane, send that Aghanims to be very effective all the way across, get a lot of last hits, get a lot of farm, and then push down towers that are unprotected all by themselves, especially with that fortification having a 4-minute cooldown. I could see it within the next 2 or 3. But we will see if that was what they want to go with. In the meantime, Morphling with that shotgun, his item, the Ethereal Blade that he's going to be picking up, along with the Adaptive Strike, scale based on agility. So he'll just morph up a lot of that strength into agility and be able to do a huge amount of magic damage burst. There's a couple of good heroes that could be up against, specifically the Shadow Demon, Windrunner, and Leshrak are all very susceptible to that. So pretty much everybody but the strength heroes. They were trying to do some Roshan action, but Rolo kind of a little bit clairvoyant there, checking for it, making sure that that wasn't the case. It was, but based on that Fissure, they knew that the jig was up, and with that, they were going to fall back because they knew that Ravage was either up or about to be. In the meantime, Smurf does have a replicant somewhere, not sure what he's doing with it. Looks like it's on. Tidehunter, not a big deal, going to expire. But they want to keep doing that Roshan. They brought him down to half health, and they committed a lot to it already. They might as well, they think, but this nice ward action about to expire, but just gave them enough understanding of what's going on to counter-initiate upon this. And Tidehunter, is he looking for a Blink Dagger? I do not believe so. Didn't get too much farm on the bottom. I don't think that's going to happen. But everything's going on him. This Torrents is a little bit early, but the boat and the Soul Catcher will be completely sufficient, and Tide will be picked off. I do believe JT should fall back at this point in time, because since the Derp was picked off, the Ravage is just too key to defend on Roshan. But we'll have to see if they really want to commit that much to Roshan. I mean, Aegis is a really big deal. The gold and the mana coming out. They do get some vision through all these spells that they're spamming out, but I don't know if they have what it takes to counter-initiate upon it, especially without that ultimate from Wrath. because he can send that across the map. But oh, here comes Smurf coming on through, pops off Kunkka immediately. He does get disrupted up, but who cares? There's only always want to fly to follow up. Rolo getting a nice stun off. That Ethereal Blade coming out just in time. Empire wants some damage on Smurf, though. He won't be able to morph out of it, and he will drop down. I'm surprised that Roshan didn't even aggro in that. But anywho, it was kind of just morphling against the world. He almost picked off Always Want to Fly as well, but at least got Kunkka off at the beginning, which, like I've already said, that's the carry. That's the guy with the boat and the torrent, all the AoE. I mean, Sand King popping his Epicenter already, and the fact that Leshrac is on low life and Kunkka is dead means they have absolutely no way of stopping this Roshan, based on the fact that the AoE is down and the Ravage is back and available. And Tottenham really wants to use a rank 2 Ravage, so that level 11 should be coming along nicely. Yeah, he's only 100 away from it with that Roshan kill, and Nature Prophet will pick up at that second life. So he's farming very nicely. His GPM should be shooting up quite a bit, yeah. Oh, that's net worth, kind of same concept there. 442 gold per minute with 8,500 net worth, and that's going to be big items coming through. Already has the 1,000, Treads, Aghanos, Midas, and now he's going to be looking for more. In the meantime, 4 staff will be coming through on the Windrunner, going to have a lot more mobility based on that, maybe set up some big shackles. Hoping for that, Nebrosco can set up some big key disables for the upcoming fights, and that's what they need to make sure this Morphling can get locked down, because like I said, even if he is playing a Glass Cannon build with the Ethereal Blade, if they can't focus him, if they can't burn him, because he's just such a slippery guy with all of his escape mechanisms, they really need hard disables to make that happen. Nice little torrent goes on Tobacco, but nothing going to come up of it. He has farmed up his Blink Dagger, that's really key item on Puck. He can initiate extremely well with Blink. Just Blink on top of him, Dream Coil, use the Waning Rift, I believe it's called, and then from there, pop the Illusory Orb and Phase Shift out with the Ethereal Jaunt. The whole combination. Blink in, use all your spells, and survive because you're immune for that the duration of the orb. That's the general initiation concept, and you can set them up to get a really nice Echo Slam now to think about it. Keeping that grouping mechanism. Dream Coil doesn't pull them together, but it sure kills, keep them tight knit, and Earthshaker can just waltz on in and deliver the hurt. So look for that in the next upcoming fights. Always Want to Fly scouting out a little bit, but he is completely blind and is not warding in this specific position, so not really going to risk it at the moment. But Shadow Demon, I mean, he's playing very supportively. He has picked up some CS. He has actually KS quite a few kills now that I remember. 6 kills for Shadow Demon, and only 3 for the Kunkka. It's a supportive Kunkka just about. Scandal not picking up when he needs to, but he will get that Shadow Blade in due time, and with that, be able to do something with it. In the meantime, Empire looking for some aggression. Get some damage on Derp. They smoked up, and he had no idea it was coming. He does pop off the Ravage, but will the retaliation be here? I don't think so. Tobacco getting hit by a lot, and Rolo is in the action, but all he's going to do is be able to Fisher. Damage coming on to Nebrosco, and he will drop down from the orb, but Rolo does a nice Echo Slams, dropping off Leshrac as well. So they're turning a really, really poor situation into an okay one. They even pop off the Dust, knowing he doesn't have Shadow Blade yet, but they had that in mind. And Epicenter does come on through. The Blink is finished. Smurf taking a ton of damage with that Ethereal Blade, not helping him out at all. It's a magic damage debuff as well as a benefit, so it's a gift and a curse. And that perspective, well, he was dropped down extremely quickly, and that's not where he wants to be at. He needs to get that BKB up to negate that as soon as he finishes his combo, and he's working on that at the moment. Needs a good amount of 1,900 gold, I believe. No, maybe 2,900. My math is terrible at the moment. Not a big deal, though. They're looking to push this tower. The Medallion is up, getting a little bit extra damage on the creeps. I want to bring it down, but of course, Fortification available, and with Nature Prophet being able to do whatever he wants, he's going to jump on top of them. He cancels it out. Even though he has the Aegis of the Immortal, he wants to just delay it just for a moment. But I think they might have been able to get some action on there, seeing as Shadow Demon doesn't have any way of cutting out through the trees. But alas, still very, very fun game, very active, and it's been very nice skill from both players, I would definitely say. Empire bringing the hurt so far in the number of team fights, but JT answering right back in a couple really, really good, strong engagements, especially around the Roshan pit. I didn't think they would be able to do anything with that other than feed the Roshan away, but they were able to capitalize on the enemy's positioning and pick off one person, as they were half of them were staying out for most of the duration there. Anyways, the Ultimate Orb has been picked up on Nature Prophet. He wants the Scythe of Vice. The Soul Catcher goes on a creep, though. The Torrent does get across, but Whitebeard just pops off his ultimate and is going to run away, but he gets blocked in. So many creeps around. The Aegis goes off, but he's got that second life. About to be up and kicking and wants to start blocking people in with the trees. Waveform does go through. Smurf wants some quick burst damage and gets it on Scandal. Shotgun pop, and that's one dead Kunkka. Admiral goes down. Derp wants to get that gush. No, it's Whitebeard that gets the Sprout off perfectly. She can power shot through, but the Force Staff is on cooldown. If the gush follows, no. J4 coming in with the Burrow Strike. Going to prevent him for the time being. Gush goes through. He's currently invis, but the Blink Dagger long cooldown. They're going to drop him off, and there's the Dust going off. So that's who the dust was for. I'm an idiot, but the dust was actually intended to catch the Sand King in case he was trying to burrow. Or oh, nice combo there. Last word there was going to be Sandstorm, but Smurf didn't even bother using Adaptive Strike. Just popped the Ethereal Blade, made him that much more vulnerable to the Fisher coming on through and burning him down. So a little cat and mouse game there, and Smurf on the top end of that. Very nice play. A little bit of counter push going on with the Windrunner, but Whitebeard's like, okay, you want to cover that lane? We'll just take the next. Move on, move on. There are TPs coming in mid lane, but Rolo should be able to fall back with no problem at all. Scandal wants that Shadow Blade, but he's been delayed so many times. This is like his fifth death. Smurf just staying on top of things and picking him off. Very effective there with the Ethereal Blade, and by delaying that Shadow Blade, he's delaying the burst damage that Kunkka can provide to his team. And with that, if there's a carry that can't do damage, he's not a carry at all. And that's really, really delaying his potential. And if that remains to be the case, it's definitely going to be the okay, Warfling, where's your health? I have no idea which. I guess he replicated out. No, he has his replicant up for 45 seconds. I'm guessing he was just neutraling and then agility morphed and it dropped down to 1, because that can happen. That's my assumption, because I really don't know what just happened there. I didn't see any engagements on the minimap. Anywho, Scandal going up. Mono duo up against these Ursa is going to bring him down pretty quick. Of course, I don't really need to iterate on. Actually, Action Smurf jumping back in with his replicant. Nice. He had that replicant up. He used it on the mid lane. Now he will strength morph up. J4 putting a lot of damage on him, and he may just drop down, but a nice stun coming in from Rolo, stopping the epicenter, keeping Smurf alive, and he does a nice TP teleport. But the X marks the spot, has something else in mind. Torrent goes on through. He needs to strength morph more, and it will not happen. The Ravage goes off just a little bit too late. Jackal doing a lot of damage. Echo Slam goes on through. He has a Fisher coming up, but it's not going to be enough. The damage from Jackal is just so much, and J4 even adding a little bit AoE, looking for a stun and Tobacco. He is silenced up. Tobacco needs to actually has no abilities on cooldown, but the Dream Coils do pop off, give him a little bit more time, but he does not get the phase shift off, and he will drop down here. Whitebeard looking for some detection, but he's just trying to get away with his life for the moment. The stun does not land on him. Jackal cannot keep up with him, and they are falling back for the moment. They're fighting on the tower, which seems to be JT's specialty. Every time they bait them on the tower, there's a lot coming out of it. Tobacco has bought back, comes on through, gets a lot of damage. Whitebeard putting through a big Wrath of Nature, getting 2 kills out of it, and Jackal, maybe another sacrifice. Jackal wants to get a stun. Tobacco just walks right on through. He's like, I know where it's at. I'm not going to let it happen, and just needs to pop off 1 skill to burn him down. But the Edict isn't sufficient. Always want to fly, burning down a lot of damage too. Rank 3 Shadow Poison going across, and that's actually 2 kills they didn't want to give up right there. They were able to stay on top of Leshrac, very effective there, but Leshrac with his giant mana pool right now, with that Bloodstone, was able to have that Rank 3 Pulse Nova going for a very long time, wore them down, and with a little bit of flanking coming in from Always Want to Fly, was able to pick off both the Nature's Prophet and the Puck, and if I remember correctly, the Puck did buy back. Yeah, Rolo bought back, and so did Tobacco. So that's a decent chunk of gold that they both expended to get back on the field. And though they were able to capitalize on and get some more farm for their allies, it did cost them quite a pretty penny. Anytime it could be recipe going out, that just means 1,300 away from the Mithril itself. And if he can acquire that, Morphling's going to be in an extremely good spot, being able to jump in, do the Ethereal Blade adaptive, waveform, and then either replicate back to safety, or he can just pop the BKB and start duking it out with a very high amount of base damage with that morph. And as he's taking damage, since he's only susceptible to physical for that 10-second duration, all he can do is just leisurely morph back up and have no real threat at him during that time period. But Kunkka has finished his Shadow Blade, and like I've been saying over and over, it does scale very well with the Tidebringer if he can get some quick bursts off. He wants his crit to follow, I presume, but right now it's not going to happen. Puts a sentry up, not exactly sure what the purpose is for that, but not a big deal one way or another. In the meantime, Nature's Prophet has been really on top of this farm. Now he is only 1,000 gold away from this Scythe of Ice, and that sheep can do a world of hurt to Kunkka, especially since he's not going for that BKB, but to anybody in general. He can slow somebody down and put a lot of damage to him. In the meantime, Whitebeard has a Soul Catcher upon him. X marks the spot going through, as well as the Torrent. He's not going to be able to TP out of this one. He does get dropped down. The boat gets wasted. Smurf giving off with the Adaptive Strike following. The Epicenter does come on through, though. Tons of damage coming out of J4. Smurf just trying to survive as best he can, but it's not going to happen. He will drop down. He's in a terrible spot, and even with this waveform, he goes up on the cliff, but the TP scroll, will he be able to do it? No, J4 is going to get that Burrow Strike, and that's going to be a kill for him. He blinks right back down. So I didn't realize the Sand King had that Blink Dagger, very, very key item for J4 to pick up, and the fact that he got that big Blink Happy really puts them in a good spot here, taking 5 for 1, exactly where Empire wants to be, and it's going to take some really skill play from JT if they want to come back from this. I know that I've said they had the end game, but again, if you're losing the team fights and Roshan going to be coming up in just a minute, that's going to be something that Empire can really take advantage of.
Dire's structures are fortified. Dire's middle
All right, here. So with that in mind, Jackal has picked up his own BKB that will make him immune to a lot of the stuff on Dire's lineup. Honestly, almost all of their abilities are completely magic based. I mean, the Nature Prophet only a sheep is, and I guess Wrath of Nature, not a big deal. But he will make him immune to the Ravage, the Echo, the Fissure, the everything from Puck, and the super burst combo coming out of Morphling. Pretty much all Morphling can do is auto attack him, which is not that bad considering he does have, even at 103 strength that he ended up morphing up, he'll go back up to about 200 damage now, and that's at a rather quick attack speed, and just shows how strong Morphling can be. But Nebrosco, what are you doing, buddy? Did he pick off the tower? He did get the tower kill, and Leshrac got a kill on top. So with that, that's 2 tier 2 towers, and if they can't bring him down, right now the Fissure does go off, and Nebrosco looks like he's going to get away. Yeah, the Force Staff, the Phase Boots, the Wind Run, giving Wind Runner so much mobility, and it's going to be very difficult to lock him down unless Morphling can just burn her off with that Ethereal really quickly. Anywho, what I was saying, the tower drop down tier 2, I believe, on top, and definitely the tier 2 in mid, gave that much more gold to Empire, and is giving them that much more advantage. Now, they don't have any more towers to bring down. The line has been drawn. The base towers are the next target, other than Roshan. But if they cannot push into this base in the next, I'd say, like 8 to 10 minutes, then Morphling is just going to get his next 1 or 2 more items. Yeah, BKB very soon, and then whatever he wants to follow up with, maybe Manta style, to go with that as well. I've seen a crit Morphling go with the BKB Ethereal before too, and it worked out pretty well, but it's situational. We'll have to see how Smurf wants to build his morph specifically. But one way or another, like I said, if Empire cannot push in up on this base, all their advantage that they've accrued over this game, as you can see on the gold graph, substantially, will kind of be for naught, because all of these towers, tier 2 available in every other lane, will be pretty easy pickings for Whitebeard to take down, and of course, Whitebeard and Morphling getting that much more scary as the game goes on. They're waiting for that. They really want that Scythe of Ice. They really want that BKB on Morphling. TP going back through. Jackal picks up a kill. I didn't catch that. Was on Rolo, just trying to ward up, and got caught out of position with this nice ward action going on by Empire here. And Whitebeard, unfortunately for him, gets dropped down as well, and that's just cool pickups that I really can't afford right now. That can make extremely easy Roshan, and they don't have buyback that I know of. He has it available on timer, but not on gold. And of course, what's his name? Whitebeard does not want to, for the fact that he really is so close to it. He has his Slice of Ice when he respawns, as long as he doesn't burn buyback right now. So I think they're just going to have to concede Roshan. They're going to say, okay, you guys can have that. We're going to move on and just get that much better as far as farm goes. Meantime, Morphling, back at base, has his BKB finished up. So a 10-second full BKB, a Slice of Ice about to come out on Nature's Prophet. Their team fight will be pretty strong, even 4v, or 5v, or wow, actually, nice quick Gibbs coming up from all the ways on a fly. He does disrupt up, though, but where did the Morphling go? He replicated out immediately, and he's perfectly fine. The boat completely wasted. Sanking just burrow striking to kind of scare him off. But in the meantime, that's a lot of cooldowns they did pop off. The minute-long Ghost Ship and the disruption, the Shadow Demon dropping down to base health and having to TP back. But they got what they came for. They got the token on who? Leshrac, I believe? So yeah, Lesh, building his Shivas, has that 11-stack Bloodstone and the 10-second BKB, now has a second life. And that's going to be a really big deal. Pretty much, they're just going to... I'm not exactly sure how they're going to go up against this, but my expectation, based on the fact that he has 2,000 HP, is just kind of just to completely ignore him and kite him, disable him when he's not BKB'd, and just try to stay away from him. If they can kill all of his allies during the time period, it's a lot better than having to go through 2 full HP and mana bars of Jackal. But only time will tell if that's going to be the general strategy for this specific occasion or what, because it's going to be really hard to make him run out of mana. Again, 23 mana regeneration based on this Bloodstone getting stacked up and snowballing pretty hard at the moment. So despite the late game that I was saying about Morphling, the Leshrac can be played very well as quite a Sammy carry himself. With that kind of stuff, Smurf putting a lot of damage, always on fly, nice blocking coming from Rolo, and he has no chance at all. Nature's Prophet, Wrath of Nature, Aghanim is going on right through and making sure that kill is secured. Yeah, net worth popping up. Morphling is just a little bit below Jackal on the Leshrac. but really a lot relying on Jackal with all those items. He's got quite a bit in his arsenal right now. So much mana regen from the Pulse Nova can keep that rolling for quite a long period of time. He didn't even bother with the Lightning, just in stats instead. But he can get, if he can land some powerful stuns following the Burrow Strike, I really think that Leshrac can be like the MVP of the next fight. He has so much potential for damage, especially once he has that BKB active, which he does now have available. So it's going to take a lot. I think I'm actually surprised that JT's even farming right now. Like, they have Tidehunter in the jungle, they have Morphling on the bottom lane. Even though they don't have any control of the map whatsoever, they're getting good wards out, so they feel safe. But that smoke could come at any time, and if that was the case, they would be in a pretty bad spot. But luckily, fortunately for them, they do have that really good ward coverage, and what would generally be a dire circumstance, since all their tier 2s are gone, that's all the map control that could be in Empire's hands, but instead the ward action, the counter ward action, making sure that they have a safe place to farm, and that's actually something that can't be understated. The fact that they're still getting creep kills on any lane and in their throughout their entire jungle right now, it makes it almost like they don't have a disadvantage. I mean, kills are a static advantage, but if JT can keep on coming up from it and keep that gold graph swinging back down in their favor, as it just narrowly is, there's definitely easy opportunity for a comeback at this phase in the game. The Scythe of Ice should be finished by now. It definitely is 1600, and they're looking to go counter-aggressive. They have the smoke available. Puck wants to initiate it up, followed by Derp and Rolo, and they have the potential to do a lot with this. They just need to get a quick pick-off, and it sounds like they have. Wow, didn't even get a chance to see it. This Sheep goes on through, and Morphling finishes that job. Getting a quick, easy kill on him and costing him almost nothing at all as far as mana cooldowns. We'll be right back up and ready to go in a moment's time. It did cost him a smoke for a support pickup, but at least they prevented him from warding on their Ancients, even if he did ward on the bottom lane here, which I don't believe they'll be able to sentry out just based on its obscure, it's kind of weird positioning. Nice. At least from Always Want to Fly, at least he's getting some good positioning out. But this is interesting. Windrunner just picked up a Pipe of Insight. Not only, okay, actually TP coming on through, looking for that Invis Rune. We'll pick it up really quickly. Nebrosco, force-staffing away now using the Windrun, running for his life. He knows that he could get sprouted any second. It is not the case, but he knows that it is a very dangerous thing. Anyways, what I was saying, the Mech and the Pipe and soon-to-be Orchid are all on the same hero, Windrunner. She has all of these items here, and if they can pick her off before she really gets to take advantage of them, maybe only gets the Pipe, for example, off on one or two heroes, and if they just focus fire her down, especially with the Morphling's assistance, then she could even, like, not even get a chance to pop them off. If that's the case, if they can actually coordinate very well and JT can focus down to Brosco right now, I feel like Empire's put a little bit of too many eggs in one basket, and JT could really take advantage of this if they do catch her off anyways. But of course that's very situational. If Nebrosco plays as well as he has been, he is a very mobile hero that can be played very defensively and probably will survive. But I'm just saying, it is a chink in the armor that if they do notice it, if they do stay on top of it, they can burn down this Windrunner and make it so that at the very least the items are only single target instead of that AoE up to 5 heroes, and also the fact that you can burn her down before she can even use them. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the next couple of fights. But in the meantime, the Aegis, the Aegis of the Immortal is ticking. Only has so much longer. Roshan did drop down about 5 minutes ago, so halftime for the Aegis, and it will be reclaimed by Roshan if it gets the opportunity to do so. The Shivas, however, has finished on Leshrac. He has a lot of physical damage mitigation from this plus 15 armor. You can look at it here. It's sitting at 61% physical damage resistance. So he is going to be a really tough cookie to crack. Like I said, he already has a good health pool. Now he has a really great effective health with that increasing armor value. And being magic immune during that 10-second time period is not going to be... yeah, it's just going to help even more. So Pipe has finished on Derp. It's a really good pickup in my mind. I mean, if you look at the damage coming in, Kunkka's boat, the Epicenter coming through, the Pulse Nova ticking away, Pipe is going to delay all that damage. And with the mitigation he gets from it, it can go up... I mean, it says 400 absorption, but it's actually probably closer to 600, 800, depending on their magic armor. Meantime, Smurf being very aggressive with his farming. He's right next to Nebrosco, but he's not afraid at all. He has that replicant walking away, and he knows that at a moment's notice he can be in the frying pan and just jump right back out to perfect safety. Now there is a nice ward here. I guess the sentry might... Yeah, I think Whitebeard was trying to TP on it to count it out, but they do see it. They just haven't gotten a chance to deward it at this point in the game. J4 has finished up that... what is it? The Veil of Discord. and that does give magic armor reduction to everybody in a very powerful AoE. It's got a really good duration on it, actually. I noticed this the other day. 20-second duration on 30-second cooldown, so you can really change a fight up if you can put that next to the heroes that are getting epicentered or pulse novaed. Big deal. But oh wow, Smurf, really? He just brought down a tower by himself fearlessly, was able to replicant out, and Empire not paying attention to it at all, except for Nebrosco, who was trying to mono him, had to pop his mech and his pipe just to survive the shotgun, the damage, the power of Morphling. And the fact that they were able to get that off and get that much more gold in Morphling's hands and his very slippery fingertips is not what they want to do right now. Smurf just capitalizes on the fact that they are roaming around trying to get a good initiation off. They're trying to be aggressive in the enemy jungle and now do the zoning, but it's like 10 minutes too late. And Morphling is getting any opportunity he wants to split push down on the bottom lane, and Nebrosco really can't do too much to lock him down without any assistance at all. So I'm actually surprised, but despite the advantage, despite the control that Empire had only a few minutes ago on the map, Smurf and Whitebeard are back on top with GPM, and they're very happy to be there, I'm sure. With 3,800 gold, did he pick up anything? I'm not sure, but he has plenty of gold in his inventory, and this advantage is going to start going down. I'm sure the experience will as well. They do currently have quite a bit, but I mean, it's not the end all be all. The end all be all is the fact that these guys can, in a 5v5 team fight, can still very well hold their own, and I think Empire's afraid of that. They know that, they've seen, especially Rolo, I'm very impressed with him this game, with his Fisher blocks, with his Echo Slams. I mean, now he has that Blink Dagger, and I just can't wait to see what he can do with it. Tidehunter doesn't even need that Blink Dagger because the Dream Coil comes on through, and Rolo has that Epi Blink. So I really, I'm going to call it Epi, sorry, Echo Blink. But at the same time, the fact that Rolo has that available, he's already done really well with his abilities without it. So now with the most essential initiator item of choice, the Blink Dagger, I'm very excited to see what he can do with that. But of course, Sand King has had his for a while, and now he has the Veil of Discord as well. My cursor just got a little weird, but hopefully that won't be a big deal. In the meantime, they're looking to kind of push on top lane a little bit. Jackal put a lot of damage on that respect. 28 magic regeneration now available with the Shivas having been finished. That has a lot of intellect applied to it, and that actually adds up the auto attack damage to 168 as well. Or a lot more than 168. Wow, math again. Terrible, but over 180. What is Smurf doing again? Holy crap, they're trying to push, they're trying to gradually do this, but the fact of the matter is they have a lot of really good turtle heroes up on JT. Oh, the Shackle does come on through, the X marks the spot. Torrent, Bode is even following up. They want the damage on Whitebeard. Nice slam coming in from Rolo, though. The Ravage goes across, they're taking tons of damage. Morphling TPing in, the buybacks come on through. Sandal does get 2 kills, though, and Jackal's following through. Oh, the J4 takes the Sand Burrow Strike, and that is bad, but I was wrong. Smurf was not teleporting back. He's taking racks. He wants towers. He wants... No, Brosco, what are you doing, man? Windrun does not keep you alive through that kind of damage. And despite the fact that these guys are in the enemy base happily taking kills, kills are not what wins this game. It's the defense of the Ancients people, and he is taken down in stride. Just 1v1, 2 people in a row, morphing up and trying to survive. Will not happen, but he can always buy back with the gold that he's accrued from taking down these towers and racks. So they actually, all in all, JT just took down tier 3. Empire did not, and now the racks are like the melee racks. The key, probably the middle melee racks, probably the most important build in the game next to the Ancient, has been dropped down to 10% HP. It has backdoor protection. It will be regenerating over time, but kind of surprised Rolo doesn't want to buy back and keep the momentum. I guess he really wants to farm up a big item. But in the meantime, Day Dallas has finished on Kunkka, and he has the potential to do a lot of damage with that. So I think it was really good of JT to be able to turtle like that. The fact of the matter is, they did lose a lot of lives, but that was 4 versus 5, and they were still able to hold their own to a decent extent. I mean, they brought everybody down really low. They fell back their positioning so that everybody was under tower, especially the tier 4s in particular, were able to do a lot of damage. And the only people that were able to TP back to go up against Smurf were dropped down immediately. And so those kills might as well have been in the base. They were back here, but that really gave Smurf a perfectly open window to put the damage here he did and actually get some pretty easy free kills out of it. Did he just... He didn't buy back late, did he? He did. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure why he waited like 30 seconds before buying back, but there you have it. He really just wanted to make sure that Roshan stayed alive. Said, okay, I don't want to buy back if I don't have to, but they saw the pressure going out that direction with, again, the continuous and excellent ward placement of JT. Like, you can see the Radiant. All they have is a ward stack. Is that 2 wards? I can't even... They're really weird stacking. But anyways, you have the ward placement on the plateau. But really, what's going on here? I mean, there's no skirmishes, there's no ganking, there's nobody farming because the lane's already pushed out. So this isn't that effective of a ward for Empire, whereas it's a lot better for JT. But this action right here gets full Roshan control and really just has a very good understanding of what's going on in the central southern half of the map. Empire wants to stay active though. They have the medallion looking for probably a 4-staff or Yule's. Probably a 4-staff. He already has the disruption, which will take him out of the combat for 2.5 seconds. And now Sand King, is he looking for a Shiva's himself? We're looking at a double Shiva's combination. That's a lot of AoE damage. And I guess the pipe will help them to stand up against that. Derp getting that off effectively last fight, but it's still, with the Pulse Nova, with the Epicenter, with the Shivas, double Shivas for that matter, the pipe can only do so much. And of course a Day Dallas crit from a Tidebringer Shadowblade could be very, very dangerous as well. Known to sometimes just, one-shot half the team, and that can be very bad indeed. So Leshrac and Kunkka are definitely, from that last encounter, as far as gold goes, doing a lot better, but Smurf continuously farming. And he did just come back to base, but he has that Scotty because of it. And now this is one of my favorite versions of Morphling. The Ethereal Blade Morphling is great for the mid-game stages, but he is not. That's not the late-game carry Morphling that we know and fear. It's this physical damage. He has 40 agility from Ethereal Blade, 10 strength as well, and now he's got 25 of both from Scotty. He has lifesteal. And he has the magic immunity for still 9 seconds available. So with that, every single auto attack will keep the enemy in his attack range. He will be doing a ton of damage to them. I mean, you're looking at over 300 damage from the Morphling here. He'll be life-stealing 15% of all of that and be immune to magic damage the entire time, as well as disables. So this is going to be a Morphling hitting like a Mack truck, and even the Admiral Kunkka, who's supposed to be the Burst King, is going to be have a very hard time going toe-to-toe with Morphling at this point in his farming. I mean, it's been a little bit of delay tactics, but this kill ratio, even the gold graph, can be extremely deceiving. The fact of the matter is, you have a 19,000 gold Morphling, 48 minutes in the game, level 25, and he can do whatever he wants. So they're going to try to push in because they have to. I mean, they can't let him get even more overfarmed, but the bottom lane is pushing in. This gives a really good opportunity for them to go in on it, especially if Morphling can pick up a Boots of Travels. I don't know if he gets a couple kills out of it, he can do it, but the fact of the matter is, without the Roshan kill with the cheese, I don't know if Empire can really push in on this. Again, the power of these two counter initiators, the fact of the matter is they can't go the pressure off. Morphling do a little bit of silly pickoffs with that, and actually the Wrath of Nature putting even more damage upon them. Now, just again, this is the ultimate turtle team. They can just push them back and push them back. The Drink Coil does go off, but to no avail. Jackal does pop off as a BKB. Smurf's in the action. Look at this auto attack damage. Burning Down always on a fly. He does get ulted up, trying to strength more as best he can, but he just replicates away. Perfectly safe for the moment. He will TP back up front and be able to come back to defend round 2. But in the meantime, the Echo Slam is still available with Blink. The Ravage, he has Blink as well. The pipe has been popped, though. They have to watch themselves. Here comes Morphling. Whitebeard in the action has a Shadow Blade. Wants to get in on this, but at least they're defending the tower, and this is the main thing. Even the creeps, the bottom tier 3 tower is taking more damage than top tier 3 from this. JT is actually pushing their base by just defending, and that's power of Earthshaker pickup. Really good drafting in my mind, since they wanted to go for the hard carry build, and with that, Rolo being able to turtle up the game and delay it for as long as needed. Now Jackal finally comes back to take down all these creeps on the bottom lane, but looking at the towers, 938 versus 833, they're doing a lot better in base as far as that goes, and again, the end game is definitely favored one way. So the Empire wants this experience advantage to keep going up, but it's really plateaued for the last several minutes, and probably same thing with the gold in general. A little bit of a steady climb, but not much. So I'm actually afraid that Empire may have missed their timing window. We've seen so much, even in this tournament alone. The past couple games I've casted for it. Okay, J4 is coming on through. Big Epicenter goes on. He does have the Veil. He does Scandal. Wants the big damage. The Echo Slam does go on through. He does that. Is Rolo going to get out of this? Holy crap, he's running for his life, but he may survive. The damage. Derp has already popped off his Ravage. Smurf trying to survive. Does not happen. Does he have buyback? It does immediately pop off the buyback. Rolo doesn't escape. Does get knocked out by that Shadow Poison, I believe. No, Windrunner getting an auto attack upon him. In the meantime, Whitebeard trying to do what he can, but everything's on cooldown. He's not going to be able to do too much, even if with the reinforcements of Smurf. Tobacco, on the other hand, has a Geometry Sight for the Shadow Blade for the Sandstorm, but Morphling has spent a heck of a lot of money for that buyback, that's for sure. the meantime, Kunkka picking up that BKB, doesn't have buyback gold. Same thing with Sand King, and the same with Shadow Demon. So for the next 30 seconds at least, it is going to be 4 on the map versus 3, and they're going to take that opportunity to do a Roshan. 2 lives on Smurf. It's like, yeah, he could get another item. He could be the hardest hitting carry in the game, but fill that 6th slot with an Aegis, and now you've got 2 Morphlings with that much farm, and that may be exactly what they need to put the nail in the coffin in this game. I'm not saying that they're about to win it necessarily. I mean, there's always opportunities to throw, but right now this Morphling is scaled so hard, and it's going to take a lot of action from Jackal and his farm to Flesh Rack. I mean, look how many level 25 heroes are on the map. Okay, just the 2, but everybody's doing really well as far as experience. I mean, even the supports sitting at 18 and plus at 51 minutes. Everybody's been very active in this game. It's been very fun to cast so far, and hopefully it won't go for, you know, another 30 minutes, but on that note. On the other hand, good warding coming in from Always Wanna Fly, finally getting some good defensive wards up. That's really what they need. I mean, they've been aggressive, but if they get the Morphling coming in right on through the jungle, they don't want to, you know, miss him and lose their racks because of it. So there's, I mean, their backdoor action, I don't know what I'm talking about backdoor Morphling. You'd figure that Whitebeard would be the guy to take care of backdooring, but right now it's been Morphling with that Replicate being fearless up against the enemy base. Speaking of Prophet, he does have that cheese picked up. Cheese is going to be the full health and mana heal that he needs to stay in the fight, as long as he can pop it off before dying or getting chain disabled. So, Buck, like I said, has that Geometry Sight. That's a very good item, not only for de-warding, or not, I was going to say not only for the Shadow Blade or the Sandstorm, but also for de-warding, controlling the map, and really staying on top of things. Tobacco being very effective with that. And right now, I mean, there's only one more, other than the one that was just placed, there's only one other ward on the map, and that's actually just been placed as well, so both their wards about 5 minutes fresh. Puck gets his own scythe. Wow, Tobacco farming decently too. What's his CS at? Not very high. 125, not the best for this stage of the game, but he's been very active in the team fights, and at 52 minutes, that's the kind of items that you're going to see. So he's got 18 assists, and his Dream Coils have been very effective throughout the game so far. But now, really good play from both teams, but the Morphling, I mean, what are you going to do against an Aegis Morphling that deals with full agility morph? He's sitting at 328 damage per auto attack on a, what is it, 0.44 seconds on per attack. So he's got an amazing attack speed and animation, and he's ready to just deliver the hurt. We'll see how that'll work out for them. But in the meantime, they're just going to be happy to farm, wait for him on through, take up some quick and easy creeps, being very efficient in that sense. Unnecessary regeneration rune. Now, trying to find things to talk about. The Orchid has been finished up on Windrunner. She's going to be using that against the Morphling. It's pretty important to get that 25% damage amplification, but also, I guess it will help a lot with the silence. All of Morphling's escape mechanisms are all about casting. Wow, look at that attack speed. Holy shit. Anyways, the waveform escape blink is all about that. The stun, the replicant away, and the strength morph, all of those, if silenced, will not be able to be activated, and that could put him in a pretty poor spot with 1700 HP that he's sitting at with his glass cannon 1 strength build. However, I mean, he does have 2 lives, and you can, even if with the Orchid, you can do a lot of damage to him, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to drop down with all the support, all of the sables available. I mean, you look at, again, the Earthshaker, the Tide Hunter, very high levels, both have blink daggers. And what about where are the BKBs on? Actually, Scandal has to watch himself. Anyways, and the Geometry Sight on Tobacco, he could get on top of them pretty quickly. But again, 3 blink daggers to initiate for JT. How many BKBs? We have Kunkka, and we have Leshrac BKB, and that's it. So everybody else is going to be very susceptible to all the AoE that JT has available right here. It's really a very powerful AoE squad. And actually, Scythe of Vice, Blink's coming in, Tobacco starts it off, Fall, Rolo, everybody here, and they say, hello Kunkka, how are you doing today? Would you like to go to the bottom of the sea? Smurf, Very aggressive. Stay on top of things. Look at that auto attack damage, just shredding him completely. The Ethereal Blade already popped. BKB about to expire. He needs to actually... He gives a Piglet. There's nothing he can do. He will drop down, but he's back in the action in a few seconds with that Aegis up, and all that damage coming out. Nice Echo Slam with the Creep Wave. Perfect timing with that Creep Wave respawn. Perfect Echo Slam. Now Tobak, all he has to do is keep him locked down. He has a magic wand. Come on, turn around, sheep buddy. But they know Jackal's come back in. They know that he just bought back, and they don't want to fight him right now. They're very wisely falling back for the moment until they can recuperate and stick together here. So a lot more strength morphed into it. 25 strength, sitting at 2 on. Oh, big shackle coming in from Nebrosco. Stun to follow up. Smurf is morphing as best he can. Rolo will take a fall though. It's just too much damage coming in. Willie, he's not actually going to drop down. Smurf actually finishes him off with the Ethereal Blade, saying dropping down the Windrunner will drop 2. Just a little bit more damage. The silence, Nebrosco will drop, and there, yeah, with that, she buys back immediately. Morphling did get dropped down, though. He was a little bit over-aggressive. Smurf in the action hardcore. The buyback is available, though, and he should be using it to keep this momentum flowing. So Morphling has finally fallen twice over, and they weren't, unfortunately, unable to take this tower or racks. So I kind of question whether it was the best benefit to push on the bottom lane with the tower still available when they had these racks open and all these creeps coming forth. But what are you going to do? That's what they tried to do. It did not exactly pan out for them, but they were able to force a lot of buybacks out. And a buyback out of a Leshrac that has like 20 Bloodstone charges is something to... kind of an oddity here. They put so much pressure that Jackal really, no matter how much money he had, he was willing to put it away to get that buyback immediately, because Bloodstone reduces, based on his charges, reduces the respawn time to probably like 20 seconds, but 20 seconds would have been too long. He knows that if he didn't buy back right then, it would have cost them tower, possibly racks, possibly more deaths, and therefore the game. But he did jump back into it and was able to hold on to it for the time being. The question is, look at that gold graph, though. Again, looks to be deceiving. A 5,000 gold advantage, getting dropped down in 2 quick skirmishes. Now, JT did lose a lot in that fight, but the fact that Morphling didn't buy back from that, which I immediately thought that might be a good idea, but now looking at it, they didn't. The fact of the matter was the waves were all pushed out. Derp taking a lot of damage, but will dispel the purge with this Kraken Shell if he takes enough damage. Or it will just expire. Derp trying to run for his life now. Does not have that Blink Dagger available, and he will drop down from the X mark. And the Windrunner. So he does have Ravage coming back up. He does have buyback gold, and he does have the cooldown. I think he's going to wait for it. He's going to wait and surprise them. As soon as they push in and try to bring down this tower, he's going to buy back. He's going to TP into this position here, blink Ravage, and there's going to be very little that Empire can do, especially in their split-up state. But what I was saying before, Morphling didn't buy back because he didn't have to. All the lanes were pushed out in favor of them. All the lanes were out on the Radiant side of the map, and therefore it would take way too long for them to do anything with it. Here comes the buyback. Okay, Rolo starts it off, has the Echo Slam on 3, very nice action there. Rolo looking for that Ravage, he does get it off, blinks right on top of them, and Jaggle taking so much damage right now. Scandal in the action too, whereas Morphling does get 2 kills out of it though. He's going for more, he has that cheese, he doesn't need it though, he's going to just stay on top of things here. J4 taking a lot of damage, Kunkka has fallen in the back lines, and now they will finish off with the waveform going through. The Sand King has fallen, and Nebrosco is the only one that remains with 3 kills for Smurf, and beautiful timing by Derp doing exactly as he needed to. Didn't even pop the pipe. Who cares about the magic damage? We just want your lives, and we will take them at the quickest possible value there. So that's what their mindset is, and he can even pick up a friggin' Satanic if that's what he wants, but right now he's just going to focus on the racks. No time to shop. We're going to go for your barracks there, and possibly even try to take the win. Here comes... nice Ethereal Blade slowing him down. Whitebeard gets Piglet off, goes for the Sprout. Now all the damage coming down on him, Nebrosco's going to drop down. I mean, Winter is a very escapable hero, but her health value is not that strong, and she got dropped down hard. Now the Desolator and the crit, decreasing the amount of damage done to the barracks, and they're going to drop this down extremely quickly and probably be able to rotate bottom. The backdoor protection has fallen now that they are in the base, and they're going to look for it pretty much immediately. They're already on it. Kunkka buys back, but wants to try to stop this, wants to try to prevent it. The X marks the spot, looking for a boat to follow, but will it lock down on anybody but Derp? It doesn't look like it. Getting a solo boat on the Tidehunter is not going to really change anything, and they've taken the melee racks. They're going to fall back. It looks like Tide will fall for the, like, what is it, his death value now. It's kind of high, but he has taken it for the team, and it's well worth it. He has dropped down 11 times in this game, but every single time has been for a good reason, or at least been able to be recovered from a very skilled buyback and Ravage counterattack. But as soon as they drop down the melee rack, Smurf The tower was gone, the melee Rex was gone, and the second that happened, the replicant was gone, and Smurf was back up farming on the top lane, sitting at 7,500 gold now, and still has that cheese from the last Roshan. Speaking of which, only about 30 seconds left on that, and that's going to be a key factor for control, and hopefully they can get up on the wards, but inventories are pretty full at the moment. I can definitely consider that. Maybe the brace are dropping down, but yeah, at 60 minutes of the game, there's so many items you could possibly get. Wards, generally not the thing that you consider. You might even have a courier scout at Roshan for you. I don't even know, but wow, holy creep ball. Just lots of melee creeps. These are all mega creeps here. And 6 minutes of the game, they just spawn so many creeps that it just pushes in constantly. And Empire is in a pretty poor spot in the fact that they have 2 racks down, the 2 big ones, the melee on mid, the melee on bottom, and they're going to continuously be pushed in and kind of have a time schedule. They can only be out of their base as a group for a certain period of time before at least 1 or 2 of them have to fall back. They want to look for Roshan. They know the timing, but I'm sure JT does too. They've been on top of it so far. And with that, the Tide Hunter is about to come back up. The Ravage will be available. Will they be able to get on this and counter-initiate it? I believe they're just going to let Smurf push this out. They're like, okay, well, you can get a cheese, you can get an Aegis, but Rax will be the forfeit for you, especially with Whitebeard now teleporting in, has Nature's Call, ready to tank it up. The backdoor protection has fallen, and now they have multiple heroes falling back. Roshan at half, they're going to have to leave it. They don't have a choice, because they have to defend their towers, they have to defend their racks. They're at such a push position. I mean, even the tier 4 is taking quite a bit of damage here, and J4 needs to stop that as best he can. He's not really focusing down the right creeps. He's on the range. He needs to be on this tower here, because this is one of the 2 key towers to defend the Ancient. In the meantime, everybody's kind of just falling back, and that gives the beautiful window. Patient JT taking the exact timing when they need. Even Rolo picking up some cheese. I don't know if sloths like cheese, but anyways, no, I think it was a really good call. I was afraid that the Roshan was going to fall way too quickly by Empire, but frankly, with Smurf pushing in on that top lane, even with the help of Whitebeard, they were able to put this pressure on the tower. They had to TP back or they would lose a tower and probably Rax, and that's not worth a Roshan kill at this stage in the game. Roshan's very nice, Aegis is very helpful, the golden experience, splendid, but if you're losing a Rax or 2 for it, at 62 minutes in against Nature Prophet, it's not an option. That's not even close to a decision, so he forced them to fall back. Now he has this Satanic, and they were able to take the Roshan once again, just by being a little bit more patient about it than I would have been, that's for sure. So nice play by them, and he's boots traveling in the action. Satanic, Ethereal Blade, Aegis the Immortal. All he needs to do is disassemble this, turn into a butterfly, and he is probably the best in slot possible Morphling. But of course he wants to save for buyback and will be very smart in doing so. Sheepstick has finished on Jackal. He has the Aghanim Scepter as well. I'm not sure which he bought first, but I haven't really been keeping tabs on his item as effectively. He is actually top in the net worth just by a little, but he can't do it by himself. He really, if he gets focused down too hard, 2,700 HP, even with all that mitigation, can only last him so long. He needs a really good initiation from Sand King and just really good disruptions from his teammates there, because, again, Aegis on the Morphling, tons of lifesteal. If you think about the Satanic cooldown being a full health bar, you think about the Aegis being a full health bar, the cheese that is available on Rolo they can give him immediately, being the good support that he is. Really, that's so many lives on Morphling that they have to eat through in order to try to hold against this. And of course, buyback is up and ready as well. Now the Ravages come out. Derp does sacrifice his life, but he has popped everything off. Here comes Smurf doing a lot of auto-attack damage, bring down J4 pretty quickly, but focus on Scandal instead. The Satanic has been popped, the Aegis as well. Chaos Dunk comes through, Jackal pinned in, nothing he can do, and he will get dropped down. Now Smurf trying to get some damage in, and nice Ethereal, nice damage, lifestealing across. The waveform does come on through, and it looks like Jackal's back in the action, pop the buyback, and wants to get on top of him. Will it happen? I do not think so. Nice sprout from Whitebeard, keeping him in, but the disruption goes through. Smurf, quick Ethereal Blade, looking for the shotgun. Did he even Ethereal Blade, or is that a Ghost Scepter? I don't know, but one way or another, the Morphling has finally fallen, but in the meantime was able to at least take ranged racks. And a quick move, it's like, okay, I don't need to kill a Shadow Demon. If I can kill Rax, that's another one of your 6 key buildings that I have dropped down. And now with the bottom getting pushed out by creeps alone during that time period, they're down to 2. They are down to 2. And that is not where Empire wants to be when they have yet to take down this top tier 3. Ugh, wow, this is not how I expected the game to go. This is JT really just playing the advantage of the game. They're keeping focus. A lot of teams are like, okay, well, we'll just get a five-man kill, maybe lose 1 or 2 heroes, and then push. But really, JT mixing it in back and forth and really realizing the key emphasis is this right here. And being able to pick away at the base buildings will get them the timing window. And again, he has the buyback, but Morphling, with all these waves pushed out, I mean, this creep wave is barely about to hit the river. They have plenty of people to turtle up on mid, and the bottom has continuously been pushing in their favor. Well, all that means is that Morphling can sit here for 35 seconds and save up that gold and get real carry items and just destroy this game. And Rolo will be happy to hand over that cheese, I believe. Yeah, it's already sitting on an invisible platter for Morphling to pick up and be available to consume as he is in the actual combat. Kind of just a little bit joke bait outs by Whitebeard. He's like, just come and try it, just come and push. He's even in a fun little spot here. He knows he does intends to TP into the fight. He doesn't want to just walk in there, so he might as well just get himself in a position where he can't get picked off for that, because he does only have 2200 HP and can get pretty well picked off, but he does have that Dade Dallas and Desolator. There's a lot of supportive damage that he can do with it. And it looks like there's going to be a quick pause coming out just to make sure. I don't think there's a strat pause. I think probably a lag or something, but they just want to make sure that they are all ready and raring to go, because this is the climax of the game. 53 to 52. Wouldn't have said it. I mean, look at the gold graph. It was, you can't see it perfectly with the pause menu, but they were at such an advantage over 5,000. They've already taken, I guess, 150% of that back in the swing of JT. So, and experience just now evening out. This giant mountain to overcome, and this is a big comeback. I mean, I know they have the carry for it, but still, the way they've been playing for it, they've definitely been getting a huge comeback out of this, and not something I would have expected. I thought that the Empire would have won at least the fight and taken another tier 3, but why am I jumping away from my camera away from that? Smurf on the aggression. He even kills off the Geometry site. Screw the vision. We just want to get the kills, and he gets a very, very quick, aggressive, who would travel in. Maybe he should have touched that Geometry site, because he's about to get ganked pretty hard. X marks the spot, goes on through, but BKB, you can't stun him. He's just going to keep on wailing, keeps the auto attacks throwing, just wait for him to stay on top of things. Pops the Satanic to get unlimited lifesteal. The boat does go on through, though. Jackal taking a ton of damage. Smurf trying to life steal through it. He will indeed survive. The cheese gets popped off, but the Leshrac is the one that has fallen. Now, the death of the Kunkka as well, and Jackal is down, Scandal as well. There's just so many kills, and where is the rest of Empire? They're having to defend the base. They can't do anything about it. Shadow Demon is like 2 auto attacks from Morphling. The Sand King got picked off early with that Boots of Travel teleporting from Smurf, and then Kunkka and Leshrac tried to do it themselves, but he didn't have the reinforcements. JT did. Derp and Rolo on the ball for that long-range blink initiation. Tobacco helping out too, and now it's going to be the last kill, and this is going to be the Ancient. Good game has been called, and well-earned, well-deserved win for JT. Coming back from it, from a very, very steep 5,000 gold deficit, they got in it, and they stuck to it, stuck to their guns, and stuck a little bit of a bug there, but stuck to it, and really some splendid play came out on top. So very well played to them. Good on them. They moved on to the next round, and there's a couple more games I'll be casting, and I think they may be one of them on the replays that I heard were really, really good games. But this, I cannot lie, that was a very, very fun game, and I'm glad I got to cast that. If you guys don't know me very well, I'm BlazeCasting, an up-and-coming Dota 2 caster, and just casting random in-houses. I'm looking to get a stream up to do in-house games and live stuff in the future, but in the meantime I'm just doing some replays and uploading that on the YouTube channel, so I've been a little bit behind on that, but I'll catch up in no time at all. Anywho, thanks for tuning in. I really do appreciate you guys watching me, and you can check out my YouTube channel if you're not already at it, at BlazeCasting, and then I'll have a twitch.tv/BlazeCasting that'll be bringing up and doing stuff on the weekends.